Seems that Jesse is now the only thing standing between the Hiss and taking over the oldest house completely, with Polaris seemingly gone, and Casper, and now understanding the fate of Casper Darling too. Be interesting to see what the ultimate role of Dylan is in all this, whether he is maybe trying to help us at all, or whether he is has completely succumbed to the Hiss. It would be nice if he is in there somewhere, but from understanding everything that's happened to him here at the Bureau before the Hiss, it would seem like he's a completely tortured soul based on how horribly he's been treated by the FBC, so that's the unfortunate thing, really. They changed our outfit back. I'm not sure why. Yeah, no Polaris in our heads now, I believe. So we're going to see what awaits us in here. Platforming, it seems.
My sister had this dream. Bad dream. And the whole world was dreaming with her.
Dylan?
She'd convinced herself that she was awake. She's always been stubborn. I knew I had to end her dream. I had to wake her up. I had to rip down the poster she'd been staring at. Cut off her eyelids to make her see. To save her.
Look at this, man. It's almost like we're in a living being, essentially, right? Which is what it might be, ultimately. So the voice of the board said that the Hiss has gotten inside, and this does look a lot like that kind of dimensional space that we go into when we interact with those objects. Here's the projector. Wow. So, what do we know about this dimension? There's the red sand, physically, I mean. You can't communicate, only a certain frequency can get through. There's no sound.
I know he's still there somewhere. Locked inside. I know, because that's how it was for me.
Small child. Endgame dictates special transmission allocation. Director, prepare for power boost. Redirect feed. Every fur necessitates consumption. Okay, so I think we're going to get some combat sections down here. It's like we're in a Rorschach test. Part of me thinks that that might be the artistic inspiration for this, right? I'm going to try and use a better variety of attacks. Just to spice it up a bit. Hey! Alright, there's a health monster? Damn it, Matt. Do I just need to run here? I'm thinking I do. No. We need to fight. Hello! Is there no one else? There he is. Oh! Whoops. Right, there were quite a lot of loot drops there. Why do I? I've hardly sneezed all day. Now it starts. Dusty microphone. Hey, hey, hey. Got a bit lucky with the drop of that. Oh, hold on. Oh, do I need to be at a control point? Yeah, I do. Weapon damage against armor. Did I have a better version? No. Crazy. Oh no! Show yourself! Oh, that should have killed it. How dare you! Oh no. I think there's another invisible thing. Yeah, I need to stop doing that at enemies that are close to me. Where's shield, bro? Damn it. There's 3 of them. Oh, damn it. What the hell, man? At least I'm like one-shotting them. Could have sworn I heard another invisible one, but... Ah! Cheeky git. There he is, right underneath that pyramid. Just as was prophesied, really, right? This is what it's like climbing up Giza, right? In Egypt. Brother, it's me. Polaris there, maybe helping us still, somehow. Hospital bed.
Dylan's in a coma.
Oh.
I don't know if there's anything of him left in there. If he'll ever find his way back. The portal's been closed, but the hiss is still in the oldest house. And the lockdown can't be lifted as long as any trace of it remains. I'm working on a solution with my management team, but there is still a long road ahead. I'm the director of the Federal Bureau of Control. We're in this together. You and I.
Okay. A bit abrupt, but it's a shame about Dylan, right? Because he's a character of like pure tragedy, really. Right? Abducted, tortured, imprisoned, and now trapped in a coma, right? Yeah, it was a bit of an abrupt ending, but I would have carried on playing if I knew it was going to be so close to the last video. But I have a sense that there's quite a lot of stuff around the Bureau to do. But yeah, that's been Control. From what I understand, that there's DLC and stuff that I will be playing, because the game's been a lot of fun. But I'll no way. Look at us. You are the director of the FBC. The crisis isn't over. Your work isn't done. So I'm guessing this is post-game stuff here, but let's just have a look. Right, the anchor's still there. So, like, Langston's runaways, the Duke. So, I feel like these things are kind of, I'd call it like gameplay recycle style missions. But I know that there's DLC. So yeah, it's tricky to sort of understand. Look at our outfit, look at our hair. Being sharp, Jesse. Yeah, so yeah, that's execute board countermeasures and bureau alerts to fight the ongoing hiss threat. Search the dangerous steps of the oldest house for classified bureau secrets and hidden clues. Okay, so very sort of sandboxy here. I will be carrying on playing, but yeah, I guess I've been a little bit worried that I've maybe not been doing the game justice because I don't want to feel like I'm mainlining the story, right? Like I was rushing through, but the way that they sort of presented some of the side quests made them feel like recycled style content and not stuff that I imagine a lot of them might have had lore connected to them, but not story necessarily, if that makes sense. Like we might have found so like doing the jukebox stuff felt very like challenge run style things, and I wasn't terribly interested in that. But I guess what I'll do now, I'll maybe just take a bit of time here just to summarize my thoughts on the game so far, because we've experienced like the main story, but we've obviously got like DLC and more exploration to do, which I'll enjoy doing. But yeah, I've been a little bit worried I've not necessarily done the game justice towards the second half of the playthrough so far, because it's been a bit tough to judge the exploration and the mission types and stuff. Like when we found like different altered items and stuff like the mirror, stuff like the section with the anchor with the clocks. Obviously, we didn't get to fight the anchor, and like like the lore and everything is really interesting. But then it was just some of the side quests, like the what a mess stuff and the jukebox stuff, did feel sort of like recycled style content, and the stuff with the finding the mold and everything did just feel like that. And I guess maybe the combat wore off, the novelty of it wore off on me a little bit as we played through. Just because it is quite fast and you die quite quick. I find that there's at least I don't think that quickly. So maybe like the strategy is a bit lost on me. I just because it's too quick. But overall, man, I think what the game does well, it does like really well. I think that like the best thing about the game is the oldest house itself, and it's the just the giant mystery and unfathomable nature of the whole place. And like as a piece of like art design and conceptual design, like the whole space is just so stunning. Like there's nothing quite like this. It's really unique in a lot of ways in terms of game spaces and game worlds, and I think that's where the game really shines, is in its world design and its lore, right? And just how fascinating it all is and how breathtaking of a sight it all is. And yeah, that's what I've really enjoyed the most, is just strolling around the place. Like in terms of the story, it's tricky, right? It's really tricky when you have a somewhat character-driven story in terms of like Jesse and Dylan, when you're in the middle of such like a bizarre concept, high concept, abstracted concept style world that's set in it, right? Because it's hard to make the human side of the stories stand out in and amongst those kind of concepts, because those concepts kind of take over in a way, to the point where normal human stories take a bit of a backseat. And I guess that's maybe where the game struggled a touch, was with the character a little bit, because I guess the character who ended up having maybe the most shine or the most personality was probably Casper Darling, right? He had, even though we never physically saw him, maybe you can find him. We'll have to explore and see if we do. But he ended up sort of being like the pseudo main character of the whole game, because his presence is felt so much. He has a lot. Yeah, even though technically he's the one who's sort of tortured Dylan, he's really a bit of an antagonist because of how he's behaved and his sort of reckless nature and his obsession with finding Polaris and the projector, and his treatment of Dylan as a prime candidate. Really, he shouldn't be someone you enjoy as a character, but he just is. I enjoyed a lot of Jessie's backstory and stuff, but I think that like the whole story with her and Dylan, maybe wasn't felt enough. Maybe we needed, I don't know. It was tough to establish like that sense of like desperation to help our brother. It was a bit. I think the game maybe struggled to establish that, but like I said, in and amongst all this other stuff surrounding the game. But I guess what the game does best in terms of like story and lore, that is the building itself and the concepts and all the weird objects and bizarre objects and just things that coincide with everyday life, with, you know, like rituals and those kinds of concepts are what really stood out. I think the combat was definitely fun. It just there was some like a missing ingredient, I feel, to the combat. I don't know what it was. I think it was maybe just a combination of like slight little things that just maybe was a bit like the fact that we had 5 guns. Maybe there's more 5 gun variations, but you could only have 2 equipped. Like, surely we should have just been able to switch between all 5. That was a bit of an annoyance because, you know, the gun just transforms, right? It just switches like immediately. So why couldn't I have just had all 5 on a wheel or something? I don't think that would have broken the combat, to be honest. I feel like, yeah, the checkpoint system was a little bit... didn't really fit the game. There are plenty of games that do hard checkpoint systems like that. They don't sort of give you boss door style checkpoint systems. You know, the Dark Souls kind of, you have a designated checkpoint, and if you have to trek back to a boss room, that's just how it works in those games. But like every time you'd have to trek back to a boss room or a combat encounter, you were just kind of running through the corridors again to get there. Often there weren't the same enemies in the same places to get back there, so it was a bit of a weird way to do it. And maybe I feel like I feel like we died you die too quickly in the combat. Maybe that's just my lack of skill. But yeah, so I think maybe those like little tiny things just sort of got in the way of the combat a bit. But it feels and sounds really visceral and really satisfying. You know, all the sound effects, all the impacts, and like I was experimenting within that last section, I maybe should have embraced all of the tools a bit more. But I guess the upgrade system, you know, doesn't give you a good spread of everything. So I was sort of using the telekinesis stuff a bit too often rather than using a bit of everything. But yeah, it sounded and felt good, but maybe there was like a missing tactical element. I don't know. But it's just mainly the oldest house like itself. It's just the star of the show, isn't it? It's just such an unbelievable place. Yeah, it's been a great time so far. So I imagine we can head back to
Shawshank
Central.
Redemption. That's the name of the movie I was thinking of earlier.
Alright.
Not important, but that was it.
Thank you, Jesse. Oh, we've not been in here apparently. Okay, a post-it note room. So yeah, anyway, those are my general thoughts on Control. Yeah. Great world, great lore. I guess like some of the characters take a little bit of a backseat in terms of their personal stories because the lore is so like all-consuming, right? Like once you're in this building, it is all about this building. So yeah. But it's been really enjoyable, and I'm excited to see what else we've got on offer here. The only thing maybe in terms of I'm a bit unsure as to whether having the map was a good idea at all. I feel like maybe the exploration of the oldest house might have made more sense without it. But maybe it would be too complicated, I don't know. But I feel like maybe they should... I mean, I can take that decision personally, but if you give me a map, you always end up looking at it somewhat. But I'm sure we've got plenty more to discover, such as this post-it note room. Someone has lost it in here. So I'm unsure what the DLC parts of the game are. Maybe you guys will have to tell me. Maybe I'll figure it out on my own. We'll read that in a second. We are as we are in the poster now. Interesting. The hair's slightly different, but we're wearing that suit. Part of the prophecy, it seems. What have we got here? Giant cigarettes and some whiskey and stuff. Some equations. We'll go and talk to Emily shortly. Maybe we can go and see Dylan even though he's in a coma. Oh, am I full up? And yeah, inventory management was a little annoying. Right, all level 3s are going. Why has that got distinct? Health boost. Alright, let's see what's in here. But yeah, the one thing, like, character-wise I took away was just it's a real sad story for Dylan, right? He's just lived such a horrible, isolated life. And for him to just end up in a coma feels like a real cruel way to end his character arc. I mean, maybe the DLC is to do with him, maybe they're planning a sequel, I don't know, I guess it sets that up, but it's a shame for him. Real shame for him, right? Because he's just been, like I said, imprisoned here his whole life since he was 10 years old. And he's like the biggest sort of victim of this whole story, right? A sticky note complaint. To whom it may concern. In case you're not aware, something caused a sticky note in my office to duplicate. My office is unusable now. I will be working from home until this is resolved. You can reach me on my cell or home phone. Sincerely, J. Bozer, Vice Chief of Staff. Oh god, we opened the door now. I wonder what... so is there an object in here that goes in this? Similar to the clock thing, right? Right, so there'll be lots of post-game stuff, I imagine, in here. A foundation. Talk to the board. There's a hotline chamber. Excuse me, address me as the director. Right now. Oh yeah, okay. So that's pretty much where I should have gone from my office.
Jesse Faden, Director of the Federal Bureau of Control. I still don't quite believe it. But you always knew where we were headed.
Polaris still with us in some way? So yeah, the whole thing with Polaris sort of being like a consciousness in our head, I guess. Yeah, oh yeah, we went in here much earlier in the game, of course. I walked over the edge.
Even if it was a dream, I feel Darling reached out to me through the hotline.
Very much.
I have a feeling he and Trench won't be the only callers from the beyond.
Yeah. Director, situation crisis. Uh-oh in Foundation. We demand your attention on Moxie. Oldest house is in danger. We open the door, tree in maintenance. Hurry, post haste.
Problem in the foundation. That was Auti's vacation spot. We need to check this out.
Interesting. Okay. So we'll just head back to Central Executive to talk to Emily and Arish. And maybe Dylan is in that same room, but except he's in his bed, in a bed now. Excuse me. My biggest fears while I'm doing a playthrough is that I knock a glass of water over and it pours directly into my PC or something. That would be very difficult to achieve. But...
When do you think Marshall's coming back? It's not like her to be absent during a crisis.
Marshall's as tough as they come. You don't need to worry about her.
I hope you're right.
Oh god, and he's still locked in his chamber as well. God. This is such a harsh way to end up
I'll
with him.
be here waiting for you when you wake up, brother.
I hope they don't, if he is, if
You wake up.
if they're waiting for a sequel or something, I hope that they don't just use him as a villain. It's difficult to portray him as the villain for this game. I don't think he really was. He was a conduit for the actual threat, right? That harnessed a lot of his feelings of angst.
You heard the director stop the hiss, right? Sounds like she can really handle things.
Finally, someone had the balls to take the fight to them. It's about time we had someone other than an old man at the helm.
Actually, I agree. She's beaten the hiss over and over. If we win this thing, it'll be because of her.
Okay, talking about me as if you can't see me. Thanks for that.
There's no way this happened by accident. I'm telling you. The board arranged this to whittle down our numbers, to prepare.
Can't you just process the stat files quietly? I don't want to hear this.
You don't want to hear how we're just sheep being led to slaughter by our own ignorance? Fine, fine.
Where's the nostalgia department? Because it's not on the map, is it? Guess we can check that out too.
The director shut it down. No problem. It's a huge.
Arish.
I heard you closed the Hiss portal, or whatever it is we're calling it. Now, if we could just flush out the stragglers.
I think these are new.
So, what's next for Simon Arish?
Well, first off, I'm banning all slide projectors. That's it. Seriously, though, we need to review our protocols. Research should not be making decisions that endanger the entire Bureau, fuck it, the entire fucking world, without some serious oversight.
I think Pope would agree. Certain people in the Bureau have been working in the shadows for too long.
And I'd like to make these HRAs part of the mandatory Bureau uniform. They're not stylish, but better safe than sorry.
I don't think anyone will complain. Not after this.
What do you think about me?
What are your thoughts on me serving as director?
Well, I couldn't be more excited. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, Trench was fine, but well, you pulled us back from the brink. So, well, I'm honored to serve, man. I mean, fuck, shit. Faden. Sorry.
He'll get it one day.
So, current circumstances with the Hiss?
So, what's the situation in my bureau, Arish?
The situation is we are still up to our eyes in Hiss. Not to mention the months of repairs it's gonna take just to get this place up and running again.
But is it doable?
Of course it is. You just might need to tell some rangers to grab a wrench once they're done hunting Hiss.
And what's the status of the slide projector? Is it in storage?
Did anyone ever mention to you that Darling was using the slide projector?
Well, Salvador never did, but I doubt he even knew. But I'm well aware that it's our job to study and contain the things that we don't understand, but some of the things that Darling did were way outside of our mission statement. Look, these things are not toys, and acting like they are is only ever gonna end one way. At least Pope seems to understand that.
Well, it's secure now. No one can reach it without my say-so.
But thank Christ for that.
Well, I don't think he was treating it like a toy. I think he was treating it like something he was obsessively studying, with complete disregard for his and everyone else's safety, right?
Marshall's been missing for a while now. Any ideas where she could be?
The last time I saw her was in maintenance when I was leading the Rangers out of the Atlas.
Right.
Yeah, I told her it wasn't safe, but she said she had to go check on something.
Did you ask where she was going?
Whew. Marshall is not the kind of person you question. Kind of intimidating, you know? But, she was by herself, if that helps at all.
Not really, but thanks. Hopefully she turns up. I'll see you later.
You know where I found a file on the old director, Northmore. It didn't list any dated death. You know anything about that?
Could be an error. The record staff process a lot of data. Maybe it just slipped through.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I know that from looking back at the footage, one of you mentioned something in maintenance when we were up there. I didn't notice it at the time, but there's the thing that says sarcophagus, and it has Northmore's name on it, so we've got a couple of missions back in maintenance, so we'll head back there.
Where are the files on parasitic entities I asked for?
I found a couple of relevant files in Dr. Darling's office. I'd have to dig through the archives for the rest, but I'm not going through the Panopticon. Not with the altered items loose.
Then go see if any Ranger squads are available for a file retrieval mission.
Got yourself an assistant, have you, Pope? Variants in alteration. So obviously we are going to head back to the Panopticon. That was quite interesting with all the different altered items, so we'll go there too. Analysis of the Hiss threat, Part 5, confidential. Summary. Hiss corruption manifests in vastly different ways. Some hosts remain largely unchanged, while others are barely recognizable as human. What determines this level of alteration? Is it the duration of corruption? It could simply be an evolutionary process, each entity representing a stage of growth in an undiscovered linear progression leading towards what? Additionally, Hiss entities possess various paranatural abilities. How have they achieved this? Do they gain them from corrupting objects of power? Have they corrupted a single highly talented para-utilitarian and divided their access to paranatural abilities across the network of Hiss corrupted hosts? As a scientist, I am hindered by the sheer number of questions. It's difficult to identify where one should begin. What is the most pertinent question? How do we kill it? That seems like a good start. Refer to the redacted file for the full report. Yeah.
Jesse, good to
Ems.
see you. We've got Dylan situated in his containment cell like you asked. I've got medical staff running tests as we speak, and I'd be happy to walk you through the details later. Other than that, what's next?
With the slide projector turned off, the Hiss are shut out, but we're stuck with the ones already here. We can't lift the lockdown until they're all eradicated. If any Hiss ever got out, that would be the end of everything.
Well, eliminating them all will take time. Look, I'll do what I can on my end, but my research is progressing slower than I'd like.
I think I can help with that. I am making you the head of research, effective immediately. I want you to use everything the Bureau has, every resource, every confidential scrap of data, and find a way to keep the Hiss out for good.
That's... really? I mean, yes, I can certainly... Yes! Yes, I accept.
You'll do great. Besides, I didn't really have anyone else lined up.
Yeah, because they're all
I'm
dead.
honored, Jesse, really. Thank you.
Alright, who's your assistant here? Hello there. Do you need a pen? There's probably some stuff we can talk to her about, actually.
I've looked through the docs we found in Dimensional Research.
Hmm.
That slide projector is extremely powerful. You were right to shut it down.
So, what do you think about me?
How do you feel about me taking over as director?
You act like it just happened. You've been director since we first met, remember? I am still thrilled. Nothing's changed. Not for me. But the Bureau has changed. Trench and Darling are gone. Their knowledge, anything not written down, disappeared with them.
That's a problem.
They knew the Bureau better than anyone.
They're the Bureau's past, Emily. We won't operate like they did. We'll learn from their mistakes. We'll be better than they ever were. We won't ever be like them.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean we need to throw the knowledge that they acquired out the window, right? Because even though we can't use the same means of operation that Darling did to discover a lot of what he did, we can still use the discoveries he's made, right? Otherwise, you know, things like, you know, Dylan being imprisoned and everything don't have to be wasted experiments almost. I guess the issue I have with Jessie is I feel like she should be more angry at the whole Bureau for how they've treated Dylan. Just kind of feels like she's going along with it. Whereas I'd be pissed off at Emily, right? If it was my brother who... she knew about it. Most people here knew about Dylan. He wasn't like a massive secret as a prime candidate. So I would be angry at all of them that they let this human being be imprisoned and tortured, right?
When the hiss got into my head, I saw some weird things.
And a great music video.
I think Darling even spoke to me. Does that make any sense to you?
Empirically, no, but phantom voices as well as hallucinatory states are not uncommon here. And considering the forces that Dr. Darling was working with, he could have been transferred to a different plane of consciousness, physically or otherwise.
And that doesn't upset you?
Oh, very. And the fact that he hid those forces from me, it's infuriating. But Darling's dream was always to look beyond our reality. This time he may have taken a step too far, but as long as his consciousness can perceive his surroundings, I'm sure he's loving it.
Maybe Darling was just trying to protect you from the darker side of his work.
Fuck that. I'm not a child. Like, don't just assume I'm going to consider something morally repugnant.
Which it all was.
Which it all was, of course.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like most of them here knew about Dylan.
How was Dylan?
The same. I can't detect any his activity, but his physiology has certainly been altered by it. And I can't tell if his brain activity is genuine or simply the aftermath of the hiss, like spasms. Dylan could wake up tomorrow for all I know. I really can't say.
Then I just have to wait for him. That's fair. He waited a long time for me.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
That's
We'll
an
be monitoring
understatement.
him round the clock. If he wakes up, we'll be ready. I don't mean that in a hostile way, just... well, you know.
It did sound like that, though.
I hear you. My brother isn't exactly popular around here.
Jessie!
I hope one day he'll have the chance to change that.
The chance? They're the ones who didn't afford him any chance. As soon as he wakes up, he should be just allowed to leave.
So, there was a moment after Hedron died that I couldn't feel my powers. The hiss got into my head. Just for a moment.
So that explains the HRA outage. Before we knew what was happening, the hiss had us. They were in my head. I saw terrible things. I mean, I was about to go under forever when the hiss was pushed back. The HRAs had come back on. Dylan vanished afterwards, and we fought off the hiss that came after him. So if Hedron's death knocked out the HRAs, that means there must be a new local source for them to relay, which I'm guessing must be...
me.
You. Hedron is dead, assuming that word even applies to a resonant-based life form. But whatever it awakened in you, the power you call Polaris is still active. Or at least, that's what my instruments are telling me.
I don't think we're ever gonna understand all of this.
Not a
And I'm
chance.
okay with that. I'm just glad you're here with me.
That's good to know. Thanks, Emily.
Sort of a philosophy for your whole life, right? You're not going to understand all of its composite parts. You've just sort of got to kind of hold on to the mast, if you know, using a ship analogy, and just let it go where it goes. Right, what happened to the board?
I found Dylan attacking the astral plane and the board. What was he hoping to accomplish?
Huh. Since they arrived, Hiss have been corrupting objects of power, which have an inherent link to the astral plane. Maybe their goal was to access the astral plane and the board itself.
That still doesn't tell us why.
His motives are a difficult thing to work out, but I have been digging through confidential files and noticed a strange gap in knowledge regarding the board. Looks like any data on them has either been deleted or was never gathered in the first place.
Then maybe it's time someone looked into that.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
I keep saying it, but I love that shirt that Emily's
Well,
got.
I've got a bureau to run. See you soon.
Yes, ma'am, Director Faden.
Please, Emily. Not even as a joke.
It's like a, I don't know what to call it, like a negative waistcoat. Really cool. Like a miniature cardigan or something. Right, so let's just have a look at ability points and stuff and upgrades before we go further afield. We've got 6 ability points, so what I might do is, I think I'm going to invest in not levitate, in ground slam. Or both. Yeah. Because that's 2 and 1. Well, yeah, ground slam. I was quite enjoying using that, to be honest. And then I think I'll go melee. I've only got 1 bloody point left. Yeah, Balix. Right, and then we unlocked this outfit, the director's suit. Oh, is there something else here? Oh, the officer's assist, right. Yeah, the golden suit, the asynchronous suit, which is my favourite, to be honest. But we'll stick with the director's suit for the time being. And then we should be able to get the new pistol variant, right? Upgraded grip. And I'll upgrade it again, because this is my favourite gun. I know it's the starting pistol, but it's the most satisfying thing to use. It's got the best sound. It does good damage while also being accurate. Shifting fragments are still not something we can use. Right, so we've got a damage boost. So I guess we can say accuracy. Use less ammo while levitating. Headshots, not really. Ammo refund chance. Ammo cost per shot. Rate of fire. Let's do that. Right, so I wanted to just have a look for this nostalgia department.
We have rangers checking each sector.
Fuck, what side is the house on?
Here we go. Here it was. Because we've probably been there. It's not on the map. God, there's still stuff floating around here. So yeah, I'm gonna maybe just spend time exploring and looking around places we've maybe not unlocked. Which, you know, I feel like I maybe should have done before we entered the final mission, but I guess I'd overestimated how long the game was, so I didn't feel like I was that close to the end when I actually was. Hello? Right, so we'll have some... Right, we can go in these places, I guess. Or is this where we took on Dylan? Or where we took on a different object or something? I did hear enemies spawn. Yeah, so... What are you doing, man? Hey! Well, great. They're just hiding under there, little campers. Bastards. And the shield is really difficult to use. Effectively. I guess the shield feels like it's meant to be used for like specific enemies. I'll get you for this. See, like, this is what I think they should have done. I feel like they should have just used things like this instead of giving us a map. Right, yeah, so that was where the nostalgia department was. So we can't go in there. You bastards. How dare you come at me? How dare you? No, the music's not stopped. There we go. Alright, so let's maybe just have a little run around executive here. See if there's any old rooms.
No normal piece of paper.
Cool. Yeah, let's just explore.
Okay, I need to know where it's
Right. Got you.
I need to find the other pages.
Find the other pages. Okay. Endless grind.
My reflection trapped in the darkness of the coffee I nurse. The rain turned the lights of the city into a mosaic on the windows. The day's paper lists all the things wrong in the world. The list grows longer by the day. The difference between the morning and the night. Coffee. Whiskey. No other difference. The alarm goes off at 5 a.m. It feels like I just closed my eyes. It's dark. I sit up on the bed in the gloom. I get up, I shower. The driver waits for me downstairs, takes me to the oldest house. An old man stares at me in the car window. It's raining. It's dark. Late at night, he brings me back here. It's not a home. It's a room where I sleep in, waking up just as tired as I was before going to bed. Endless grind.
Yeah, miserable bastard Trench. Right? Just miserable. bastard. I think these don't change. I think these are the same as they always were. The hiss is removed and silent from the astral plane. You have proven beaten the not you. We tolerate you very much. You are prepared and unprepared for what comes next. We will speak again in the future. Expansion. Good work. Good victory, director. There's like a meta-narrative, I guess, with this being a game and them knowing it's a game. Right, find more pages. I will do that. Dead letters. Right, let's have a little look further on. So yeah, I don't know how to structure the videos from here, but I think I'm just gonna mooch around. I'm just gonna see what's here. For every level, more or less. Book club, Penny. Hello, avid readers. The Bureau Book Brunch will convene at the usual spot in the corner table of the cafeteria at 5 PM on Tuesday. Currently discussing Unless You by J.D. Brooks. Everyone should get their reviews to me by Monday before lunch so I can generate some conversation starters before the meeting. Happy reading, Penny Bartwell. Oh! No interruptions!
No. I'm so sorry, Meg. What happened? I don't know. He blacked it out.
Redacted.
It's like the detector says. Confidential and children both start with C. The director's a puppet. A dirty, fat person. Dad says my mama went missing in action. She walked into the city and didn't come back. I don't know what missing in actions is, but I sure wish someone would find her.
I'll help you look, Topher. We'll find your mama together.
No interruptions! I will now have the physical urge to say that to people in real life. Buddy, where are you going? Jesus, man. Duck! Oh, there's loads of health down there. Oh, you bastard. What hit me? Should have gone for the health upgrades. God damn it. I'm just trying to find some letters here, guys. God. You're ruining my reputation among the men. The soldiers. You serve me. Where was Dead Letters? Yep. Quiet, man. Oh, god damn it. Why are you hiding in here, Jeff? Don't know who you're messing with, man. Stop running. Dare you come at me? Good lord. I'm just trying to learn about book club. Have we...
Just look at it. 8 inches wide and capable of storing a whopping 80 kilobytes. Stolen by our friends at the CIA, the disk held the launch codes to Soviet nukes. This is not the disk, of course, but one exactly like it. A perfect fusion of concepts vibrating in the Cold War era collective unconscious. A receptacle. It is a receptacle for dangerous energies to hone in on. And they did. We don't have the details, but when things started flying around the disk, it was transferred to us. It's an object of power. OP. Oops. Oh, and it can launch things telekinetically through the air. To date, we've launched maybe 3 dozen pencils. And once, we even launched a cup.
I think we have seen this before. I remember the bit about launching the pencils. Yeah, so we'll just find lots of doors and stuff that we've not unlocked. Hopefully there's some good stuff. Fake planes. Dear New York Tribune. Airplanes aren't real. I figured out how they do it. The windows are TV screens. The whole thing moves on big tracks like a roller coaster that moves through underground tunnels in the earth. Airports are more like train stations. They do this because the sky is full of monsters that they don't want us to know about. The planes we see in the sky are the monsters. The government made the earth trains look like the monsters so they could lie to us better. Don't contact me. It's in the FBC. Maybe that's true? I wonder if we could, like, climb up. I know there's a stairwell, but... let's find out. Yeah, we can. Because we explored this area sort of at the beginning of the game. Here's another letter.
That's no normal piece of paper. I need to know what
Got you.
Should be one more page.
A smoking ban. Dear elected official, thanks to the recent smoking ban in my state, I'm happy to inform you I won't be voting for you in the next election. As everyone knows, smoking is being banned because the smoke is toxic to the aliens that the government sold our planet to in a secret deal. If humans keep smoking, the aliens won't be able to live on Earth. Our air would be poison to them. If you government traitors can't stop people from smoking, then you won't get your millions of dollars from the aliens. I have a website. People know what's going on. We're going to keep smoking no matter what. This is a national emergency. Politicians are handing the planet over to alien overlords. We won't let you. We will resist. I will smoke forever. Signed, a proud smoker, rebel, patriot. The one thing that like the internet has exposed everyone to is to like the hopeless contrarian nature of people, of certain people, right? Who it doesn't matter how obvious the truth is in certain circumstances. I'm not saying there aren't circumstances where things are hidden or obscured, but certain things there will just always be people who feel like the truth isn't enough. That's like sort of within human nature, right? You know, like flat earthers or whatever, they just don't want to believe what conventional science tells them. And like the thing that I don't understand is like when people want to challenge conventional science, which is important to do in terms of paradigms and paradigm shifts and stuff, it's like they say as if like academic science and just science in general, not considering other things, like they're completely ignorant of alternate theories, and alternate theories aren't important to science. Like when you do a degree in any type of science, like I know some people don't think psychology is a science, but you know, my degree has a BSc at the end of it. You know, you learn about how fringe theories or theories that are outside the conventional truth or believed truth eventually shift the paradigm. That is something you study throughout history, is how, you know, things like the Earth being discovered as a globe or gravity, how that was like a paradigm shift for science at the time, and just general population's view on how things were. So it's not as if paradigm shifts aren't recognized in science, right? Scientists understand that certain things will be discovered that will completely change, shift, or alter what they currently believe to be the truth about certain things. So, yeah. It just annoys me with, like, you know, the notion that science is just spreading misinformation because it wants to keep the status quo in check, and maybe that's the case in certain respects, but science is aware of paradigm shifts and seeks them out, right? Seeks out truth for the most part. And, you know, it can be wrong, but it's not like there's... Well, I don't think most scientists are scared of being wrong, right? Like, they just... Yeah. I've made the point. White Kitchen. Dear gentlemen of the Society of Sciences, it's been some time since I sent my initial letter. I hope it's not the case that you have dismissed my claims outright. In that hope, I am writing to you once more. I'm writing you to once more ask for your help in understanding the oddity that has befallen me in my home. I have recently begun renting a new apartment in the city. The space is nothing special, though for a time I found the isolation quite soothing. Recently I have begun experiencing a strange occurrence when I'm in my kitchen, a tiny little thing with not much but a sink. I sometimes lose myself. My surroundings change. I find myself standing on a strange dark stone. I stare out at a colourless sky, as white as undisturbed snow, terrified of moving. Perhaps this is a brain issue? I think not, as it feels terribly real. This has been occurring for some months now, and I have become frightened of entering the kitchen. If it's not too much of an inconvenience, I would dearly appreciate a visit from one of your professionals to see what they make of it. I await your response with little expectation, but with great hope. Very truly yours, Lorraine Fitzgerald. That was very matter of fact, Lorraine. Right, the last time we entered one of those rooms, enemies spawned. So the next letter might be up there. There are letters, there's papers in the air, obviously. There's usually a red aura around the letters. So, we'll try and find that before I end the video. Pinstripe world. I'm a plaid suit in a pinstripe world. I'm a plaid suit in a... Oh. Yeah. And there's one that's redacted. Fair enough. Undefined reading. It's always creepy when you, like, that guy's like staring right at me. Cat clock. My clock is shaped like a cat and its eyes move and I think it's angry. But I keep apologizing and it won't stop. But I said I'm sorry, sorry, but it won't leave me alone and I don't know what it wants. So I can't keep apologizing. But do you see it now too? It told me everyone is here and I need to be careful so they don't see me writing this letter. It wants me to stay with it, with my eyes on its eyes and moving very fast. But I can't keep going and I worry they'll forget about Meso. I need to write you about this because I can't keep going. But the cat will because of its eyes. Man, they nailed the lore. Just shaping the feel of the chaos of this type of place, right? Here we go. Get back here, man. Right, what's going to happen?
Done and done.
The moving letters. Containment procedure. Blackrock paneling suppresses the item's effect. Description, altered effect. A stack of 4 envelopes, each containing a single page of paper. All 4 letters are illegible, due to extreme water damage. The envelopes, curiously, don't show any sign of such damage and are covered in messages of love. The items are... Well, we're the director now, we shouldn't have to deal with redacted. The items are able to move short distances at a pace of less than redacted and always in a redacted direction. This is the first altered item to have multiple separate parts, a fact previously believed to be an impossibility by redacted person. A proposal to take the items outside the oldest house and follow their movements to its final destination is under consideration with the budget committee. See this file for details. The background. Item was found in the Dead Letters archive, where the herd activist found it attempting to escape a filing cabinet. She reports having no record of the items in her archive of letters. Fascinating. Our whereabouts. Hey! You have questions and the prophets have your answer. If you are truly intrigued, watch the time. We've lost about 45 days in the past 4 years. The shortening of days, this is why the Vatican is a sundial and also simultaneously a keyhole. Another thing, while I'm here, if you want the secret to everything, compare plasma next to brain cells. The sun and moon are composed of plasma, simply light, not planets. After this is cemented in your psyche, ponder the current whereabouts of where you, I, and humanity reside. Cheers. What a horribly simplified version of something that sounds unbelievably complex. Cheers, guys! I've explained the universe. Don't worry anymore. Vivid dreams. Right, nearly done. To the esteemed members of the American Psychiatric Council, I'm writing to you to inquire about the significance of dreams in relation to one's mental health. I'm aware that there are many books purporting to contain the true meaning of dreams, but I have reservations about their legitimacy. Me too. I understand that it is not usually done, but I would greatly appreciate your thoughts on my condition, capital C. Ever since I was young, I have had intensely vivid dreams. They only occur sporadically, but in them I witness very strange events. I understand that dreams can seem real at the time, but these feel markedly different. They do not occur often, perhaps only 1 or 2 a year. Last night I had one. I saw a small, empty town. It was utterly dark. There was a lake at its centre. Shadows of people moved around me, muttering odd things. A bright light woke me up. I was screaming in my sleep. My wife had been shaking me for minutes before I woke. Because of this recent incident, I have decided to seek help. The doctor says I'm physically fine, but I wanted to consult your expertise. Thank you for your valuable time. Yours very sincerely, Richard Bowker. So that's Alan Wake, obviously. A lake at its centre, shadows of people. Interesting. Yeah, dreams are definitely something people don't have massive expertise on. I mean, the simplistic explanation to dreams in psychology, at least, is you separate dreams into 2 distinct types. Slow wave sleep dreams and REM sleep dreams. So, in REM sleep, so basically, a sleep cycle lasts for roughly 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Let's just say 2 hours, and then you progress through, I think it's 4 or 5 cycles of slow wave sleep before you enter REM sleep. So your brain waves are very active and frequent when you're awake, and REM sleep mirrors awake brain waves, very active and conscious, whereas slow wave sleep, each stage of slow wave sleep, your brain waves gradually get slower in each phase. So there's 2 different types of dreams, and in REM sleep your body is generally sort of paralyzed because your brain is as if awake. If you have dreams during slow wave sleep, they tend to be very nonsensical, very weird. They just don't have any type of flow to them, very strange. Whereas dreams in REM sleep are essentially what you could describe them as like real life simulations. Because your brainwaves are as if they are awake, so they tend to make more sense. They tend to have things relative to your real life, people from things you're worried about, things that have happened in that day, people you've encountered will tell, or people you've been thinking about or have been on your mind will show up. And yeah, that's all I usually describe REM sleep dreams as, is just rehearsal. I mean, there are some common things that I think that you'd class as like survival rehearsal, you know, things like being chased, things of that nature. Simulating the feeling of falling is quite common. Yeah. But to associate like serious, deeper meaning to dreams, I think is always a bit dodgy, in my opinion. You know, our brains don't work in metaphors. Right, we'll leave it there, guys. We've seen the end, but it is also not the end. There seems like it's definitely weighted to a lot of heavy post-game exploration, which I'm enjoying, learning about all this extra stuff, which I'll continue doing. We're just gonna wander now. We'll probably head to maintenance after we've explored some of the bits we probably missed in Executive. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed the ending here, but I hope you've enjoyed the sort of exploration we'll be doing in the coming videos. So yeah, leave me a like if you enjoyed it, and just remember everyone, never trust an on-crate. I'll see you next time.